welcome to Home Team Advantage. I'm Gary Gimbetti along with Mike Egan. And,
We're on?
Yeah, we're on, and he's playing with his phone.
Better than you playing with something else.
But, I guess we'll start high school-wise, and because we really don't have much to talk about, but
Well, there's not a whole lot going on with
No.
this wonderful weather that we're having.
yeah, I don't know, it's frustrating.
Why we live here.
Yeah, right.
The challenges of
Yeah.
daily life.
But I know baseball was, we talked about last week, they lost their first game to North Branch. They were supposed to play Duluth Marshall down in Proctor yesterday. I haven't heard a score on that one, so I can't inform you there. Softball went over to Aurora, I believe, on Tuesday and played Evelyn Gilbert, and they won 3-2. So that makes them 2-0 on the year. Helps to have good pitcher.
And time in between our pitching. A couple of days, couple of weeks.
Yeah, so it's maybe hopefully saving on her arm, but if we ever get any kind of spring in here, I think games are going to be so condensed that it's, like Cherry coach told me, he's got 5 games already scheduled next week, and
Wow.
it might end up to be 7. So I guess it all depends what kind of coach you are and how you want your schedule, played out.
Well, you would think that the Minnesota High School League will probably step in, and didn't they do that a couple of years ago with the COVID thing? They rescheduled it, and because they weren't playing, they went right into the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was due to COVID or was it the year before or something. We had another bad spring, but this is the worst spring I can ever remember. I mean, it's
That's a long time.
heck yeah. Yeah, I just turned 63 yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
So, yeah.
Where's the
We were
cake?
supposed to do the show on my birthday, but you had previous plans, so we
Sorry.
moved it to today, but that's all right. No problem.
At least I'm not in jail. Yet.
Yeah. So softball's 2-0, 2-0. I like to pronounce 2-0. I don't like saying 0 though for 0, but they are undefeated. So
So
we'll
what's
go
wrong with
that.
saying "oh" instead of
Well,
0?
I don't know. I'm just a stickler for stuff like that. Because it's not. You don't say "oh" when you have a 0. You say 0. You don't have "oh"
Okay.
because that's OH for crying out loud. It doesn't. Yeah, nil. Nil
That's
works.
That's just a guy that doesn't proofread.
That's true. Never, ever. And that would, probably a lot of people would probably agree with you. Tennis.
I have to excuse me
Oh.
because I'm being interrupted. I'm trying to concentrate on what you're saying, and some guy keeps walking back and forth and diggling with the cameras. And, oh, here he comes again.
Yeah, and they don't work. Hopefully they're working right now. Hopefully you can see us right now.
He's pushing buttons. Maybe better if we just go blank
Yeah.
and all they hear are voices. We could be like
Well,
radio.
We're better suited for radio.
Yes, we are. We have faces that are great for radio.
No doubt about it.
So anyways, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, tennis, lost to Grand Rapids. They actually had an outdoor meet Tuesday.
Wow. Over there?
Over at the Lincoln, and they lost to Grand Rapids Greenway 4-3. He was missing 2 of his starters because they're on vacation, and I don't know. This break is over.
Yeah, well,
Should be back in school, but that's the way, I guess you plan. We plan them when you can get them.
it's a different sports world we live in these days.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't get that because you're hurting your team that way. I would say other things, but I'm not going to. After the show, we'll discuss that in more detail.
Well, then we'll get you on one of those hot mics.
Yeah,
Get you in trouble.
Get me really in trouble. But they're supposedly going to have a home match today against Pine City
Not gonna happen.
at 3. Well,
Well, maybe it will be a little chilly, but
might be a little cold, but if that doesn't go on, they're going to go over to Virginia at 6 o'clock and play Pine City.
okay.
And then tomorrow, they're already, I think, scheduled to go over to Virginia for the Hibbing Invite, and they'll have Cambridge, Isani, Mound Westonka, and Pine City there, so they'll play 2 matches. Seeing as they're playing Pine City tonight, they'll play Cambridge and Mound.
So they'll have the Hibbing
Tomorrow.
Invitational over in Virginia.
Yeah. So, unless he's got another one slated, maybe this was just a quad tournament anyway.
Okay.
So, that's going on there. Track, I think they're supposed to be outside on Saturday. I think they go to St. Francis, so maybe they'll actually get
Get out and do some running
a
outside.
meet in outside. They were supposed to have one in, I believe, Cambridge last week, but they ended up, fortunately, Bemidji State put on another indoor meet, so they went over there. But they had some, obviously it was Easter break, so they had some kids missing there. So hopefully they're all back.
How's our pole vaulter doing?
She went down to Arkansas during Easter and participated in a camp
Good.
down there, so hopefully, she picked up some valuable
Pointers?
and so it's going to be fun though to see how she does this year. I mean, hopefully she can clear 12 or 13 feet. Maybe I'm a little unrealistic, but you never know.
Nothing wrong with setting high goals, especially
No.
when you're a high jumper or pole vaulter.
Pole vaulter. Yeah, you need to have high goals for that. What am I forgetting?
We got baseball, been very, very
We
good
talked
to me.
baseball, so we didn't know. Softball,
Softball.
track, tennis, golf. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll be like if they get a round in at all this year.
yeah. Right
Because-
now,
Even if the weather does start to clear a little bit, you still got to wait for the course to dry out, and not good.
no, and some obviously dry out faster than others. I'm sure Eagle Ridge will probably. I'm not saying now, and I don't know when, but they're usually the first course open up here. There's already courses open in the cities, but surprise, surprise. When I watched the start of the Wild game, they were showing people walking into the building, and it was blue sky, sun out, green grass, and then we live up here. You're lucky if you're seeing grass up here now.
And most of the people smoke it.
Yeah. Well, that's what you need to be doing at this point, I think.
It may drive you to do that, right? So,
So-
not to interrupt, since we're talking a little bit about track, had our school board meeting on Wednesday. Athletic Director Keith Turner had some nice, good information that the next year, I think the high school will be having the district cross-country tournament here. Not a tournament, it's a
No,
meet.
the Section 7,
Meet.
7 double A meet, probably.
And
Yeah.
they're hoping to get the double A, but because they don't think they can have that many kids running on the golf course. So, but that's good news. And then there was some talk about the basketball tournament coming back, the A and every other year maybe the double A. So, unfortunately, I asked him about hockey, and he goes, "Never come back.
Never.
It'll always stay in Duluth." So, until because of the voting situation, they all want to stay in Duluth.
So we give Hermantown and all the Duluth teams a home pretty much home
ice
advantage.
Yep.
Because of that. So yeah, that's good. That's the way it should
But
be.
we're it's making strides, which is good to hear. They're going to start doing some things, and hopefully the new track will be ready. It will be ready next spring.
Well, it may not be ready because
Well, with the
when are
weather.
they going to get out there to work on
Yeah,
it?
no, it'll be ready.
Well, no, we're pretty confident of that.
Yep.
So
So that was good news.
No, and I got to apologize. I was up at the boxing and I didn't come down. You had a nice table for me and
Yep.
food. I got to apologize to you for not going down, but
Yeah.
that was a fun. I had the first set of matches I watched. They were all pretty darn good matches. A lot of you got a couple 85-pound kids in there. Like
It's amazing, and hats off to Michael Grove, AJ, for a great job. I mean, it was well attended, but from start to end, you mentioned 85, 10-year-old, 12-year-old kids. You do think it's just going to be, like a rock'em sock'em robot, but they actually know what they're doing. I wouldn't want to get in a ring with them.
No, they left it all out there.
Yep.
I mean, some of the rounds were only a minute long, some were minute and a half, and some were 2 minutes. And it was 3 rounds, but they came out punching.
Yeah, they came out and nice turnout, and congratulations to Ryder Grove. He received, I think it was Boxer of the Night. And,
Okay.
and the final bout, the main event, it looked like a pro fight. I mean, these guys, and it's different sitting next to the ring, and when you hear one of those thumps, when a guy gets hit, and all of a sudden he's, it's a little bit different than when watching it on TV. So, but it was very nice.
There were some standing 8 counts. Did anybody ever get really knocked out?
No knockdowns.
Okay, so there were no knockouts then during the flow, which is good.
Well, you got the
mask
protective
on.
gear and everything on you, so it's kind of hard unless you get one right underneath the chin. But yeah, it worked out very well. So nice deal for the city of Hibbing. A lot of people came to town and from all over, and like I said, it was well attended. So
yeah, I'm looking, if he does it next year, I'm looking forward to it.
maybe
Only
he'll
this
come sit
time-
with us, huh?
Well, maybe this time, though, he could put his own boxers maybe in the first set of matches. That would be my only...
Well, you got to
Only
keep
thing I
people
would
around, so
say-
you put the better ones at the end.
Well, yeah, I get that, but I couldn't get any pictures of them because we had 5:30 deadline and I had to
Oh,
get back, and then and none of those, that first set of matches wasn't even over at 5 o'clock.
Missed a really good meal too.
Well, I'm sure I did because it was made by your place, so I know I missed a good meal. But I apologize for that.
That's okay.
I know Shelley came up to me and said, "We got you at a table down there," but I needed to be above the ring
Above all of us.
to get the pictures. So, because you can't shoot through the ropes.
I
mean,
kind of
it's-
remember, like halfway through that third match, I looked up into the corner and it looked like a light was shining in the corner. And was you sitting there?
Yeah.
With a halo.
Halo on. Yeah, sure. I wish. But so congratulations to them. He said I did text him and say if you want me to call those guys, I will. But he did say, well, we went 1-3, so Ryder must have been the only one.
Ryder won his match, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, another good match. So
All right.
good job.
Well,
Pros.
let's just start
Shall we
with
go
the
from a high to a
Timberwolves.
low
No,
now?
we'll go. Yeah, we'll go to the low. We'll go to the Timberwolves.
Okay.
24-point lead in the first half.
Yep.
23-point lead with less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Yep. And
They
then
got
went on.
outscored 20-0 at one point.
Right. And
So how do you piece that one together?
well, they were saying last night, at the end, everybody's the experts at the end of the game. Oh, they'll never come back from this. It's devastating. They might as well just throw in the towel. They're done. But these guys are young. I mean, I think they're going to be all right. I think they'll win the second game here. They'll go down there, lose that one, come back, maybe win one here, and then go the full 5. Is it 5 or 7?
7.
7. They got to make it interesting for the NBA to make some money. So, but it's just nice to see a playoff game for the Timberwolves at Target. So,
Well, now I'm going to get.
you going to rack the players now?
Well, I'm going to.
Towns, Mr. Towns. If you quit whining and play basketball,
I
you'll be
hope.
all right.
I hope that and I don't. I hate saying this, and I'm prefacing that. I just hope they just get knocked out, because you can't go into that. I mean, first you win the first game,
Yeah.
then you should come out in the second game even better, and at least if you lose, don't lose by 25 points.
Right.
Get beat in a close game. But then you come out and you say, I called a coach last night to do an interview with him, and he said, "Are you watching this Timberwolves game?" And I said, "No." I go, "I don't want to really hear about it." And then he told me about it, and he said they were up by 24
24 points. at one point.
points in the first half. He told me the score. And it's like, well, maybe I'll have something to watch when I get home then if they end up winning. Well, I told myself, this is the NBA. Anything can happen in the NBA, and obviously it did. I'm with Charles Barkley on this one when he said it's embarrassing, because it's embarrassing what they did yesterday.
When you got a full house, Rabbit fans been waiting how many years to have a playoff game, and then you stink to join up in the second half? Yeah. But that's on the players. That's not the coach. That's the players.
Well, no, I'm gonna take liberty, just a partial liberty with that, because when they're going on an 8-0 run, you should call a timeout. And he did not call a timeout through a total 20-0 run.
I thought you didn't watch the game.
I did, but I've heard a lot about it this morning.
Oh, the experts.
Yes, I've been listening. I listen to my K-Fan every time I.
Brought to you by our sponsor.
Caribou Coffee.
Have you gotten your free Caribou coffee yet from the sponsor? You need her.
But I don't know. I think you should call a timeout once they start going on an 8-0 run. You should call a timeout and settle your guys down. But you're right.
How
Most
about
of
you?
it.
How about you call a timeout and sit the players down, tell them to get their head out of there and start playing ball.
That's exactly. I was just going to go there.
But they're so afraid to say things, and then Towns, he gets hit, and and he hits. It's just so tiring to listen. Every call they get, they whine.
Well, and he's got to quit that, and he has to start being a leader of this team. He is the leader of this team.
You look back 20 years ago when McHale and Bird and Parrish and those guys played against Detroit.
Well, it was probably longer
It
than
was a
20 years.
slugfest.
Yeah, it was probably longer than 20 years ago, though.
But they didn't make any, and I think, I think a lot of it's blamed on the officials. They make the pansy-ass calls. Oops. Sorry about that. They make these calls that, tic-tac calls, I guess you would call them.
Ticky-tack, yes.
And it just ruins the whole game because it takes you right out of the momentum of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
not that the refs lost the game for them, but
no, but I also do think Barkley is not doing Towns justice by always ripping on him because we talked before the show, which we usually do, about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving haven't exactly had stellar playoffs yet this year for Brooklyn. So, I mean, and they're much better than Towns at this point in their careers.
and higher paid.
And probably higher paid. So, I mean, if you're going to rip Towns for that, then you better be, maybe Barkley is ripping Durant and Irvin. I don't know, but.
To me, Mr. Towns has not proven to be what they need on this team. And that, like you said, they need a leader. They got a couple of the older guys that they brought in, Waverly, is that how you pronounce it? Beverly. And some of these guys, at least they show some emotion. I mean, Towns, he's too busy crying going up and down the floor to do anything. And then he had ridiculous fouls, and it just,
Well, 8 points isn't going to cut it.
He's my Sanoa at the basketball game.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the segue into that.
Oh.
But I know, it's embarrassing. I mean, and some people are still pretty peeved about it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's why, they're comparing it to Gary Anderson Wright.
Field goal kicker?
The field goal kicker or left or whichever way he missed that field goal.
Yeah.
And there's some other ones too that I saw on Twitter this morning about,
it's
just
really,
typical Minnesota. If you're a Minnesota fan, that's what you go through.
It's just what you're going to get. Mm-hmm. And thank God we have Twitter. I mean, what would we do without Twitter?
Yeah, thank goodness.
All those experts. Wait till Elon buys it, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So, but hey, maybe they'll rebound Saturday
Never know.
night and
Yeah.
come back, tie it 2-2, and. But yeah, they're gonna regret not
Losing this
winning
one.
that game.
Yeah.
They're really gonna regret it.
You think they're doing gassers at practice today?
Well, I don't know.
Line to line?
They probably make too much money to be able to have to run those. They're well, like the Nets, they just hired Steve Nash, just to be a figurehead, I think, because Durant and Irving.
Oh, they run the
are
team.
the team.
Just like Sir James runs the Lakers, and look how well they did this
Yeah.
year.
So, but at least Finch does his job.
He's a good coach.
Except I think he did make a mistake last night by not settling his team down and getting them back into a rhythm again. But hey, that's the way it goes.
That's why they call it the NBA.
Wait, that's not for long, though. What's that one?
We'll wake up sometime.
Okay, that's your job for next week.
Yes, I'll have
Make up something
something
for
for
the
the
NBA. NHL, the Minnesota Wild,
Playing well.
locked into. Well, they're not locked into second yet or third. They have a
They're locked into a playoff spot.
playoff spot with for sure their opponent's going to be St. Louis.
Yep.
Well, maybe we'll get Pat on someday to talk about that. But I'm going to give my rundown on why St. Louis. I'm going to be a negative Minnesota fan again and give you my reasons why they're not going to survive the first round against St. Louis.
Okay, now if you're watching this on TV, get a little closer to the screen because he's going to give you number one.
Well, I have to give. I was told I have somebody I played softball against all those years ago named Gary, and I'm supposed to give him a shout out because he watches the show religiously.
Mr. Sandusky?
Yeah. No, that's Jerry.
Oh, I thought you said Southgate.
Was
Right,
it
babe?
Southgate?
Babe.
Oh, it wasn't Southgate. Okay, so it was somebody else. Ron wasn't sure what his name was, but he talked to him last night.
Babe's favorite line was calling Mr. Southgate Mr. Sandusky.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's.
The only reason I brought it up is I had an opportunity to watch 30 for 30 last night, and they did the story about Joe Paterno.
Oh, okay.
What a shame.
Yeah,
But anyways, okay.
but the number one, my number one reason,
Yep.
the Wild take too many undisciplined penalties.
Boom.
The hooking, the holding, the tripping, the too many men on the ice, the high sticking, all can be avoided, I think. Or am I being too simplistic?
You're being too, whatever that word is.
Simplistic?
Yes.
Can't take penalties. And you know why they can't take penalties?
They're not big enough because their power play ain't, or
Their penalty kill is
killing's
awful. It's like at 75%, maybe it's between 70 and 75%.
Yeah, that could be their Achilles heel.
Well, that's exactly it's why they can't take penalties, because their penalty kill is awful. And I'll bring that up with Pat. I don't care. It's if he wants to come on again, and you're not going to survive in the playoffs if your penalty kill is at 75%.
I agree.
It's got to be up between 85 and 90, I think. Now,
Okay.
again, maybe I'm being unrealistic, but you got to kill penalties.
Number two.
Number two, and that's the third. That was the second one, and my third reason is their power play is atrocious.
Okay.
That's at like 20%, maybe even lower.
What's their record this year?
Well, yeah, but just think if they'd
Where are
scored
they
a
in
few
the
more
playoffs?
power plays. Just think if that power play was up to 25%, how many they might be battling Colorado for the number one spot.
I guess I don't understand. If their power play is so bad, why do they?
Because they
Why
score
is their,
more.
why I'm going to say why when they're 5-on-5, why are they doing so well?
They have no problem scoring 5-on-5,
Right.
but they can't score 5-on-4.
Okay.
It's that power play's got to be up by 25% at least to for the playoffs.
Okay.
Now, there's my reasons. Call me an idiot?
So, okay, you're an idiot.
All right, thank you. So no, hey, I don't. You're not hurting my feelings.
So now you told me to.
Well, I know. So it's like that's why I don't think.
Call
they're
me
going to-
irresponsible.
I think
Is that what it is?
goaltending, they're solid
Yes.
with Talbot and Fleury.
We mentioned that. Who do you think's going to go? Who's going to start, Talbot or Fleury? Or are they going to wait till they get through these
I
four
think
games?
they'll just wait till they get to these last 5
Okay.
games and then they'll decide. But I think I told you before we got on the air that they're going to probably rotate them.
rotate.
But we'll see.
I think they're going to start maybe rotating, but whoever's the hot goalie, wouldn't it be nice to see Fleury play like he did when Vegas won the Stanley Cup? I mean, the guy was unbeatable. So that all it takes is a hot goalie. It's from high school, college, all the way up to the pros. So
Yeah, and and again, I hope they win. I hope they go all the way through.
Yeah.
But
speaking of goalies, how about that goalie from Mankato State?
yeah, performance PEDs,
Yeah.
and he's banned for
He's
what
banned.
6 months?
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I mean, what does that mean though? As far as he can't play professionally now, evidently,
Well, I think he can play professionally. He just can't play amateur.
amateur anymore. Well, he's done anyway. So
Right.
what's a ban going to do? Because I don't understand that whole thing. But
No, it's gonna
maybe they should they should go back and redo that. Make him forfeit that Gopher game and play
Oh.
that title game again. That's in the dreams though, but
got
but
three
yeah.
words. Got 3 words for that one. Not gonna
Yeah.
happen.
But yeah, well, that's too bad.
But
I was
Fiala's playing well.
yes,
Stay with the Wild.
he's making himself into an $8 million player,
Yeah.
and are the Wild going to be able to pay him that kind of money next year to stick
And the
around?
one thing that we've been hyping on, or I've been hyping on for years on this show, is they finally showed a little muscle last night. Somebody picked on our Russian
Kaprizov.
and next thing you know, this guy's over there.
Delorier.
Yeah.
You have it's a
You
name-
whacked him pretty
That's
good.
got a mouthful for a
Yeah.
name there,
Yeah.
but he's not afraid. And then when he went down the tunnel to go back into the locker room, he was
high-fiving everybody.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that's kind of good to see.
So maybe you'll see a little more of that, a little more, a little more physicality. And who knows? Blues are big. I mean, they're a
Yeah,
big
they're
team.
big. They're going to
And-
be a handful, there's no doubt.
Unfortunately, our local pro, Mr. Perunovich, is not playing.
No,
Would've
not
been
that I know of. Yeah,
Would have
it'd
been
been-
really nice to see him out on the ice. So that would have been interesting. But what do we got? The Twins.
Twins.
Another winning organization.
Yeah, I already had them irrelevant after they lost the second night to Kansas City.
Yeah.
And then they come back and,
1-0
yeah.
with an RBI by
Your buddy.
091 guy. How can you have a batting average of .091
Well, when you have 3 hits and 25 at-bats,
Wow.
I think that's
and 1 home run
yeah.
of those 3?
But you know what? The thing he's done, though, I mean, yes, he's struck out 9 or 10 times, maybe 11 or 12.
That's per game.
But he also has drawn like 7 or 8 walks already, so his strikeout to walk ratio isn't outrageous right now. So
Must be getting a better eye up there at the plate.
he's not getting a better eye. I'm sorry.
Throw that off speed.
Yeah, he just
Woof.
swings at, he just flails at everything that goes outside.
Yep.
I wish their organization would do something about that. And I know you want them traded.
Well, you
but-
mentioned a little bit about their pitching. I think has done well,
Oh yes.
but now you mentioned their big acquisition not really coming through so far.
Not yet. He had an infield hit yesterday. Then he grounded into a double play.
And the other guy that I think is going to be the guiding point for this team is Kepler, and he's not doing anything either. So Buxton, he's out for how long now? They
No,
said?
he came back
he
yesterday.
played
and
yesterday?
DH'd yesterday. Had a hit.
Didn't he get hurt?
No. He actually ran pretty well to first base, I guess, after he got his hit. So he's not
that's
hurt.
good.
He'll probably be back in the outfield, I would think, maybe tonight against the White Sox.
Are they at home tonight, or are they?
Yeah, they're at home. Big series early.
30 degrees.
Get a couple, 3
Rain.
wins off Chicago and
Yep.
get back to 500 and then go from there.
Vikings
Draft next week.
next week, big draft. I
So
see
we'll
they're
see.
interviewing that big kid from Alabama who, according to the experts, is going to be a bust.
Well, we'll see who they take. We'll see who's there. We'll see if they trade back or they trade down or.
Well, they were saying last night too that they were doing a mock draft and they were talking to one of a big lineman that played years ago. These guys were about 350. I mean, just huge. And he made the comment, he said, linemen aren't big anymore. You got to be 270, 280, agile, able to rush and block. But I don't know. There's something about a 350-pound guy sitting in the middle of the line that you can't move. That's got to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's a fact.
So,
Well, we come to the end of another show. For Mike Egan, I'm Gary Gimbetti. We'll see you again next week on Home Team Advantage.
keep those emails coming.
Hibbing Public Access Television would like to thank U.S. Bank for providing us with studio space.